The Konica Autoreflex T from 1968. The first 35mm single lens reflex interchangeable lens camera with through the lens metering and shutter priority automation. And in this edition of Jules Voto's Photo Focus, I'm going to explain all the features, controls, and how to use the Autoreflex T. But before I begin, let me say that if you enjoy videos like this on vintage cameras and lenses, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So let's begin on the top right side of the camera as you hold the camera, where I always begin when doing one of these camera videos. And I just want to say something about this shutter speed dial. It's a little bit different. It has speeds from 1 second up to 1/1000th of a second plus bulb, like many of the cameras of its era. It also syncs with flash, as you can see in red, at 1/125th of a second, a little higher than some other cameras. But there's a unique switch on this camera. You notice it says override, and this little switch here you can push down. Now if you try, I have the ISO right now set at 400, and if you try to go all the way through the shutter speed range, you cannot get past 1/15th of a second. You must push this override switch down, and then you could go through the full range of shutter speeds. And you can release it to go back where you started. And as you change ISO, that minimum shutter speed that you can set will change. And that has to do with how the meter couples to the shutter speed dial. It's a little complicated. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but just be aware of that. And the way this camera works as far as the automation, you pick a shutter speed and the camera will pick an aperture when you have the aperture ring set to EE. Okay, it is a mechanical camera. Unlike most of the cameras with automation that came after it, it does not have an electronic shutter. It's a fully mechanical camera that works perfectly well without a battery, except for the meter, of course. Okay, so let's get back to this. It has an ISO range of 25 to 1600, and you set that by just lifting up on this little ring around the shutter speed dial. Okay, and you could set your ISO. All right, to the right of that is a standard shutter release threaded for a cable release. Okay, your film advance lever, which advances film and cocks the shutter, has a 154-degree stroke, and it also advances the frame counter. Okay, let's come to the front of the camera. We have our self-timer, and the way that works, make sure the shutter is cocked. You move it down, and then you must press the shutter release, and it will wind down. It can be set between 4 and 10 seconds, depending on how far down you move that lever. Okay, we also have here, right here, our depth of field preview. So let me set this lens. Let's set it to f8, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. As I press, I know it's hard to see with the lighting, but as you press and hold that button, it will stop the lens down so you could observe depth of field on the viewing screen. Okay, so that's it for that side of the camera. Let's come over to the other side. We have our lens release here. Just press it in, it's a bayonet mount. Turn the lens to the right. To remount the lens, you match up this red dot on the lens to the red dot on the camera. Okay, and it's a very short turn to mount the lens, shorter than on other bayonet mount cameras I have used. Here we have our connection for flash, we have our X sync socket, and 4 bulbs. If you're using electronic flash, it's imperative that you plug it in to the bottom terminal. Okay? The X means electronic flash. If you plugged it into the top, for M, for bulbs, it would not sync properly. The electronic flash would not sync properly with the shutter. On the left top side of the camera, we have our film plane indication, and we have our rewind knob. The rewind knob will not lift up on this camera. Let's come to the back of the camera. We have our meter switch. Just turn it to on. That turns on the meter. Make sure if you have one of these cameras with a working meter, this meter does not work on this particular one that I have. Just make sure you turn it off when you're done photographing. On the bottom of the camera here, we have a battery check. Just press this button in when looking through the viewfinder. And I'm going to show you a representation of the viewfinder in a minute. But if the needle in the viewfinder moves to the battery check mark, your battery is okay. Here is the battery compartment. It takes two 1.35 volt mercury batteries. There are substitutes if you have one of these cameras with a working meter. Here is our tripod socket and our rewind button. Other than the automation, then the shutter priority automatic feature of this camera, it's a pretty basic mechanical camera. Okay, now we're going to look at a representation of the viewfinder. Okay, and this is from the camera manual. So this is what it looks like when looking through the viewfinder. We have a center micro prism surrounded by a collar here for fine focusing. At the bottom, we have a shutter speed scale. Will indicate the shutter speed that you have set. This M will be visible if you do not have the lens set for EE, for automatic exposure control. You see a range of apertures. When the meter is on, once you have selected a shutter speed, you point the camera to your subject, and the needle will indicate the aperture that the camera will select. It can also be used for manual exposure control and also for stop-down metering with older lenses. There's much more information here in this viewfinder than on a lot of cameras of the day. Here is our battery check mark. So when pressing that button on the bottom of the camera with the meter turned on, this needle would then, if the battery is good, would drop down to this mark here. If the needle drops down to here, you are overexposing. Select a faster shutter speed. If the needle points to this area here, below this dot, which that dot indicates 1.2 lens opening, if it points to here, that means that you are underexposing and you need to pick a slower shutter speed. Okay, so now let me show you how to load the camera. And as with all 35mm cameras, always be sure that the camera is not loaded before you open the back. What I usually do is just unfold the rewind crank and just turn a little bit in the direction of that arrow. And if it turns very freely, that means there's no film in the camera. If you feel some resistance, that means there's a roll of film in the camera. Don't open the back. Okay, to open the back on this camera, you just pull down on this little thing here. The back springs open. And one thing you will notice is the very wide pressure plate. That's a good thing. And this is a metal focal plane shutter, but do not touch it. You can damage it. Now you also notice that this rewind knob does not push up. And that's because there's a little opening here that is closed when you close the back. So it's different than most cameras. So you just take your roll of film and you just basically drop it in, run it across the focal plane, and it has a multi-slotted take-up spool. And this leader on this film is a little damaged because I use this to demonstrate loading cameras. So it's a little bent. So it might be a little hard to get that in there. So you just want to make sure. It's also a little hard to do standing over the camera that's filming this. So now we're just going to advance a little bit of film. Okay, and you want to make sure the sprocket holes in the film engage with the sprocket gear in the camera. That's important. If there's a lot of slack here, you just want to take some of that slack up with your with your rewind knob, okay? Now we know that the film is in there. Close the back, turn it over. All right, we're going to make a couple blanks. Now as we do this, I want you to watch something. As I advance the film, I'm going to unfold this rewind crank so you can see. Watch the rewind crank. Notice that it's turning. All right, there's our first blank. There's our second blank. When that rewind knob is turning as you advance film, that means that the film is properly loaded, that the film is leaving the cassette and going into the take-up spool. Now, if the rewind knob wasn't turning as you advance film, that means that the film never caught onto the leader. You just have to open up the back and do it again. Okay, so let's just make a few more. This is just a practice roll of film, okay? All right, so now it's the end of the roll. You've taken some great pictures. I'm going to turn the camera over. I'm going to press in the rewind knob, okay? And then you simply unfold your crank and wind the film back into the cassette. Now you feel some resistance. Now I'm not going to wind that all the way back in. All right, I heard it pull off of the take-up spool. I'm just going to open the back and take it out. And the reason I'm not winding this all the way in is because I use this film for demonstration purposes. Okay, so that is it for my video on the Autoreflex T. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful to you if you own one of these cameras. And if you have any comments or questions on this video, please leave them in the comments below. I always try to respond to all questions and comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I usually publish a new video every Monday morning and Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I will talk to you then.